Chris Canty today. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Smalls, Casey, how are you guys?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited to be here.
I too am wonderful and also excited to be here.
You work here every day. You can't go with the excited to be here again.
Why
Hey, wait.
I'm excited to be here every day.
I'm in my home office. I also work here every day. So I'm good.
That's right.
Okay.
We're all in our comfort zone.
Wait, but the excited to be here, Kevin probably went downstairs is where he went.
You're not excited to be here every day?
Of course I am.
Wow, Evan, not excited to be at work every day.
How did this become about me and you turn it around like that?
6:01 in the morning. And we're
Eastern
already here.
time. Yeah, I don't like it. And you're already clowning on me. Unbelievable.
Well, you just threw, Kevin, you are at your home studio today, but we get these papers every day, our rundowns, things we need to read. Evan just threw them at me and threw them across the table and off the table.
I threw them to you. I would never throw it at you.
Do I need to leave?
Throw them at you. Do you understand that people are going to hear that and think I'm throwing things at you?
Well, you know, he didn't ball them up and throw them at
Yeah,
me.
I tried to slide them on the desk across where Cece normally sits.
Yeah.
You slid it away from her.
I didn't mean to. I think it has been proven many of
I'm
times.
not saying you did. I'm just saying.
I think it's been proven many of times, not to give Kevin's exact location, that where I throw, which is near where Kevin lives, is not ideal, right? Where I've thrown in my life. I'm not a good thrower, obviously, and that is
terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I forgive you. I
Yeah.
forgot about the 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
I forgot about your accuracy issues.
I had a terrible game against a team where Kevin's kids are going to go to high school.
Is that true? You did?
Anyway, we
He
can
threw
move
8
on.
See that
No,
jersey behind
no.
him,
Was
Kevin?
was that against Mamaroneck High School? I
No,
don't
it was
remember
against
Mamaroneck, so it's
Nyack.
fine.
It was against
Okay.
Nyack. Yeah.
Okay.
Tough place to play, though,
It is
notoriously.
not. Yeah. Jason McCourty will tell you that.
Yeah.
Jason McCourty grew up in that area. Anyway, all right, can we move on to another quarterback that struggled, and that is Kyler Murray. Adam Schefter reports yesterday that Kyler Murray is going to be released barring a trade between now and next Wednesday. Before I continue, are we all in agreement that there will be no trade?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be a release at this point. I understand they have to say that as a way of enticing a team to say, okay, sure, we'll give you something for Kyler Murray. That's not going to happen. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million, guaranteed in 26. Another almost $20 million would have been given to him if he was on the roster for this league year in mid-March. And so now he will be moving on. Our Cardinals reporter, Josh Weinfuss, says that getting released was his preferred destination, and that there's two preferred destinations that he would love to go to, but we are not 100% sure as to what those destinations are. Let's go one by one here with Kyler. Let's talk first about his time in Arizona. What's the right way of describing it? Was he a bust as the number 1 overall pick, or did he just not work out as the number 1 overall pick?
Well, he only had 1 playoff appearance in his 7 seasons in Arizona. A wild card loss to the Rams back in 2021. There was injuries. When you're drafted number 1 overall as a quarterback, especially, you're supposed to be transformational. You're supposed to put the organization in a position where they're competing for championships year in and year out. So if that's the bar that you're trying to measure Kyler Murray's Arizona Cardinals career by, I would say it was a failure.
Failure is too strong. I'd call it a disappointment. He wasn't a bust. Josh Rosen was a bust, who was drafted in the first round the year before. But he won Rookie of the Year. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler. I know that doesn't mean anything, but that's just sort of a gauge that he was maybe in the top few NFC quarterbacks at some point during his tenure there. They didn't win a lot. It felt like the fact that they drafted him held them back a little bit, just in the sense that you're signing him to this big contract. He had his limitations. You're trying to game plan around those limitations. So I was actually thinking about this last night. Steve Keim, who was the GM of the Cardinals, said that drafting Kyler Murray got him an extension, and that Nick Bosa, who was number 2 in that draft, was the best football player available, but that would have gotten everybody fired. And so I think sometimes the quarterback position is used as job preservation. That was true here. But I often wonder, like, Nick Bosa was the pick in that draft, and I think that he'd obviously still be contributing to the Cardinals if he was there. And Kyler Murray, it's not a failure, but it is a disappointment.
So where does he go now, and can he elevate a team into a contender status?
Yeah, it depends what the team is. He can't elevate anything. Let's start there. He can't elevate anything because we already saw him not elevate a Cardinals franchise that did have some talent during his tenure there. And they had, 8-game, 9-game runs where they rattled off a bunch of wins, but they couldn't do it consistently. Some of that was his limitations. Some of that, I don't think the rumors of his video game stuff, I don't think that was totally unfounded. I don't think that was out of nowhere. So maybe there was a part of that as far as never being able to put together, an 18, 19 type of game run that goes into January. That didn't really happen. But we had this discussion a couple weeks ago when I was filling in. Mac Jones, I think, is the type of guy who makes the Vikings into an immediate contender because of how good that roster is. I put Kyler Murray in that bucket too. So if he goes to Miami, are the Dolphins going to be contenders? Absolutely not. But if he goes to Minnesota, yeah, definitely. So it's not about elevation. It's about fitting in and being the answer at quarterback. And look at this. Malik Willis, people are saying he's going to get $30 million. Kyler Murray's a lot better than that.
Is he?
Yes.
He's definitely a lot better moving forward than what Malik Willis will give you.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. I don't. Well, why? I don't think it's particularly close.
Well, then why would you say then he's not going to elevate anything? If you think he's better than the guy that most people going into this free agency period would say was the best quarterback on the market of known commodities, right? We weren't 100% sure if Kyler was going to be available. We weren't 100% sure if Daniel Jones was going to be available. We weren't 100% sure if Kirk Cousins was going to be available. Mac Jones would be by way of trade. So I'm talking about, and we don't even know if he's going to be available. Strictly free agency. Malik Willis was looked at as the guy that was considered the best. He also may be the guy that replaces Kyler Murray, ironically enough, in Arizona. But you're saying a guy simultaneously, Kevin Clark, cannot elevate anyone, yet is significantly better than the best quarterback on the market per most people.
Well, that's a supply and demand thing. Malik Willis has started 3 games in Green Bay. 3 games. Do you want to give money to somebody who started 3 games? Go ahead. Kyler Murray has a track record of, again, high floor, low ceiling. We've seen it. Okay, better than people think at throwing over the middle of the field, but certainly has limitations because of his height. By the way, if Kyler Murray was 6'3", he'd be the greatest football player of all time. But let's put that aside. I think that
no, he wouldn't be. No, I'm not going to put that aside. That's insane. Are we just going to dismiss how many turnovers he has? Are we going to dismiss the decision making?
6'3"?
If he was 6'3", does he work harder? I hate doing this. The organization has told us he doesn't study the sport in the way that Mahomes would, or Lamar would, or Josh Allen would, or some of these other guys.
Jaden Daniels.
I mean, they told us this, and I'm having a tough time shedding that. I don't like short quarterbacks, and I'm not going to assume if he's 6'3" that all of a sudden he's going to be great.
Okay. Well, we can put a pin in this. What would happen if Kyler Murray was 6'3"? We can put that aside.
You don't think we'll ever be able to prove that one?
I don't know if we're going to be able to run the test on that. But Malik Willis started 3 games, and there's a long track record, whether it's Matt Flynn or some of these other guys, where they look good in short samples. Again, in a Green Bay offense, they had a lot of talent. Had obviously Matt LaFleur, who's really good at scheming it up. He had everything going for him. Kyler Murray has not had a lot going for him in Arizona. Green Bay is a significantly better franchise. And he's also played a heck of a lot more games than Malik Willis. I don't think it's particularly close. If you're saying, first of all, if you're saying you have to spend $30 million on either of these guys, I'd rather spend $30 million on Kyler Murray. But you're not going to have to. He's going to be able to sign, if he wants to, for the absolute league minimum of $1.3 million. This is not even close. If I'm Minnesota, if I'm any of these teams, there should be. I saw someone say this yesterday. There should be 31 teams calling Kyler Murray about the league minimum, because even if you've got a franchise quarterback, why would you not want Kyler Murray on a league minimum? He's so dynamic. So yeah, he's the best quarterback available by a wide margin. I mean, the only thing that would change that is if Daniel Jones miraculously got healthy. Even coming off an Achilles, that would give me pause. So there's no chance a quarterback better than Kyler Murray becomes available this offseason.
I agree with that, and I'm excited to see what happens next for Kyler Murray because it's incomplete in Arizona. I said it was a failure because when you're drafted number 1 overall, you're expected to compete consistently.
Sure.
But look at Sam Darnold. his time with the New York Jets was a failure, he's not a failure. Just because your tenure with the team that drafted you is disappointing, underwhelming, and not what you hoped it could be, does not mean that you can't have a second act somewhere else where you revitalize your career in a lot of ways. And it is circumstantial. It does depend where he goes. If Kyler Murray goes to the Jets, are we going to say Kyler Murray's going to elevate the Jets? No. If he goes to the Vikings, are we going to say they have a chance to win because it's a clear upgrade from what J.J. McCarthy has given them? Yes, it's all circumstantial. Sam Darnold is the blueprint for that. And even though Kyler Murray has been disappointing in Arizona, not only because of the turnovers and the independent study clause and all of that, he's missed 27 games in the past 4 seasons. He hasn't been healthy either. So there's just a lot of data points that are incomplete for me, and I'm very interested to see what happens next for him because he is very, very talented.
I may be too hung up on one part of this, but if you're going to assume that Kyler Murray is going to revive his career elsewhere, and you used Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones and Geno and all these guys, am I missing anybody in that category, right? I may be too hung up on the idea that none of the first round, quote unquote, failures or almost failures ever were good with the second team. It was always the fourth team and beyond. Like they had to go through even more to get really good. Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl and is arguably
he's a different case study.
Different case. Matthew Stafford didn't win with his first team, but certainly was not a failure with his first
Incredibly
team.
productive.
You couldn't even ask that question about him.
There was no questions about him. Period. It was
Correct.
about the organization he was employed by.
Correct. So where is the example? If Kyler Murray is going to be great with the second team or good enough with the second team, where's the example of that? Where's the track record?
I think you're kind of looking at it backwards. I think a lot of times when quarterbacks fail, they don't get to go to a good situation because they failed, right? So Sam Darnold had to go to Carolina when it was maybe the worst organization in all of football, and he had to stay there for 2 years. Baker Mayfield, the same. Then he had to go to L.A., where he was a replacement quarterback with didn't he have like an hour to learn the plays?
And he was great.
He was in those bad situations because he failed. What doesn't happen in this league is you fail as a first overall pick or a third overall pick in Sam Darnold's case, and then another really good infrastructure team goes, hey, why don't you start for us? That doesn't happen. And so what happens is you have to go and play, be a starter in a place like Carolina for 10 or 11 games, fail, then hit rock bottom. I think that's the part you're talking about, Evan.
Yeah.
That I think is a good point. You have to hit rock bottom as a quarterback to be built back up. Sam Darnold did
what
it,
you're
certainly.
saying, Kevin, and I'm sorry to interrupt, we can continue the conversation, but we got to break in a second, but what you're saying is really interesting. What you're saying is Kyler Murray, I'm going to use fail as a word to work in extremes here. He may have a chance to fail up, which is the biggest indictment of the Cardinals. And what you're saying is very rare. All right, we'll continue the quarterback conversation because Kyler Murray wasn't the only starting quarterback in the news yesterday. The Colts are keeping a guy forever or for now? We'll get to that next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.